So my parents came over. They actually they got on a boat and got dropped in New York, and just my mom and dad, and they decided to start heading west. And they the way the story kind of goes is they didn't really know where they were going to end up, and they just kept going and going, and they ended up in Santa Barbara. And to this day, I thank my mom every day. You know, I don't want to say any other states that might be along the way because I don't want to offend anybody, but I ended up in Santa Barbara. And I was born 5 years after they got here. Um, and I grew up in Santa Barbara for the first sort of 10, 12 years of my life. And then my dad owned a BMW dealership as well as obviously racing and things that my dad did. And that was in Goleta, which is, right next to Santa Barbara. And then when I was about 12, we moved to Ventura. They moved the business, and so they moved down to Ventura. And I've literally been there since I was about 12.
Yeah, it's sick. I mean, we've both been fortunate enough to crash at your place a little
Oh
bit.
yeah,
So
yeah.
Dude, it's
That's
beautiful
great.
there.
Yeah, it's good.
it
It's a
is
good
one of my
spot.
favorite spots. Your dad, for people that don't realize as well, his background was racing
Yep.
3-time champ.
Yeah.
in the AMA, but he raced in Europe before that.
He raced in England and things, and I think that the dream for, back then the big dream was always get to America. Everybody wanted to get to America, and my dad and my mom sacrificed a lot to do that. And then, I've obviously growing up with him, like he was like I idolized him obviously because just of the things that he did, and when he won Superbike championships, I was 8, 9, 10. So I remember that, and he was pretty versed. He did a lot of different type. Like he raced sidecars at the Isle of Man. I was at the Isle of Man with him in '79 and '80, I think. So I was, 9, 10 years old, going to the Isle of Man and watching my dad race sidecars
Wow.
with my uncle Kenny, that you guys know, and so he did a lot of things, and he won his first Superbike championship in '76 for BMW, and then he backed those up for 2 years with Kawasaki in '77, '78. And it was a bad accident that hurt him in '79. That he never really really came back from that after that one. He raced a few times, but he never, at that point he got hurt pretty bad.
So when growing up, was it always you were going to race motorcycles? Like what, I mean, you said you idolized him.
Yeah.
Obviously growing up with a champion and whatnot, it's pretty easy to fall in the footsteps. And
Hmm.
when did you get on a bike?
I was pretty groomed for it. I was on a bike when I was literally just a little after 2 years old. I've seen photos. And yeah, I was on a bike and you know, being around bikes all the time. That's all I knew. I just loved being around bikes. But my dad, to be fair, he never pushed me that way. Like it wasn't like I had to ride motorcycles. It was a decision. It was if he wants to do it, great. If he doesn't, we'll support him in whatever. Both my mom and dad were like that. But I just, you know, I loved it. I was always at the dealership, and I think that actually helped for me because I was always around bikes. It wasn't like I was just going to 6, 8 races a year. I was always around bikes. And then I got into BMX, and again, two wheels. Just it kept churning in my brain that was happening. And then for a brief time when I was in high school, I thought I'm going after golf. That's what I thought. I thought, I'm gonna have a go at this. But that was, it was a weird time for me. I was 13, 14, 15 years old, and I was getting to go. My dad started a school then, so I was going all over the country to these tracks and riding them all, just getting to see them. And then it was a decision. Once I became a junior in high school, I decided, golf would be great, but I'm kind of groomed for the bikes, so that's kind of what I did.